All right. What's good? What's good? What's good? You tune in Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man Kill. I got my hip hop squad up here in effect with me tonight. My mom's raised me right, so I gotta shout out my cousin Joanna first and foremost, out the planet of Brooklyn. What's going on, Joanna?
How you doing?
Oh man, everything is good. Everything's good. Just glad you could make time to chop it up with us on the hip hop side of things too.
Oh, I'm excited about this one, really.
All right, no doubt. Also from the County of Kings, I got my brother Vegas. What's going on, fam?
Popping, man. It's Brooklyn, so I gotta say Brooklyn shit.
he really ain't smiling this episode with Brooklyn. I don't know. I'm not smiling all tonight. JR, what's going on? Brooklyn too?
What's up? Brownsville never ran, never will.
Okay. All right, MOP. All right. I'm waiting for Trigger the Gambler to walk through the door. Man, you talking about Brownsville. Out of North Carolina, I got my man Tone. What's going on, fam?
Dirty South, baby.
All right. And out the ATI, I got my man Vern. What's poppin', baby?
Hootie hoo!
All right. Yo, y'all know me. Let's jump right into it. My man Mars hit me on Twitter, was like, yo, here's a dope topic. Don't know if y'all ever did it. Your top 5 favorite hip-hop labels. So I was like, dope topic. Never did it. Let's jump on it. But here's the thing. I told everybody your top 5 hip-hop labels, not including Def Jam, because I just feel like Def Jam is the mecca. Def Jam is everything. But I do got an audible I'm going to throw at Cass later on in the show about Def Jam. But let's jump right into it. Joanna, ladies first. What is one of your top 5 hip-hop labels?
Okay, so I'm going to start with number 5.
All right.
Okay, so number 5 I put on the list because for me it was the first.
All right.
And that's Sugar Hill.
There you
Sugar
go.
Hill Records. Okay, so they had Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight. They had Grandmaster Flash, The Message. So, you know, these are the songs that I got introduced to hip hop. You know, listening to those. There was Love Bug Starsky too.
Right.
I don't know if y'all remember him. I think he was, you know, there was Love Bug too, but he didn't really get the radio play that these 2 songs got. You know, Rapper's Delight and you know what I'm saying. The Message.
Flash.
It was Grandmaster Flash. So there was some other cats around that time that I really liked, but they really didn't get that record, that radio play. Jimmy Spicer with Super Rhymes.
Yep.
Super Rhymes was it. You know, the song was like 7-8 minutes or some crazy shit like that. You know, they only could play like little clips of it on the radio. So that's just, you know, paying homage to those who started it.
No doubt.
Number 5.
All right, no doubt. Vern, what you got for me, good brother?
Man, I don't know what I read, but I swore you said now defunct labels, but it's all good.
No. Well, keep in mind this: most labels are defunct.
That's right.
Okay.
Most labels we named are the defunct because nobody really is like one record label now, just distributing everybody, or they doing their own thing. So,
right.
So never play spades with me because you know I always throw the big joker out from the start. So I'm gonna go with Jive, man.
Okay.
Tribe Called Quest. So you said, you know, favorite groups and favorite albums. I'm gonna go with Tribe. Shucks. The Low End Theory is my favorite album. Midnight Marauders is a better album, but Low End is my favorite. I gotta go with Shorty the Pimp, man. Too Short, Life is Too Short. Yeah. Love that album, man. It was full of debauchery and all the stuff that a 17, 18-year-old kid would love, man. Cuss words, just let them roll. I don't say those words no more. Houdini, man. You know, that Back in, was that Back in Black with Funky Beat, I'm a whole fugitive and all that stuff. And BDP off that. I mean, I guess shoot, it's a battle between Criminal Minded and By All Means Necessary. And then I'm gonna finish my jive with Souls of Mischief 93 till Infinity, man.
All right, no doubt. Gotta cut you right real quick. You know what I mean? Actually, Criminal Minded was on B-Boy Records.
You know what? I hate the way the computer does that. So scratch Criminal Minded in.
Yeah,
that's right.
Got on there with them. But yeah, don't forget. Not that I want to big him up because of the dumb shit he did, but Steady B was on Jive too. You know what I mean? Steady B out of Philadelphia before him and Cool C went murdered. The first Philadelphia history. But, you know, they was on it. That's how Chris and Steady connected for the Serious remix.
Okay.
Let the Hustlers Play album. That's how they connected because they was both on Jive. So yeah, but Jive definitely dope label, definitely. Veg, what you got for me, good brother?
I got Cold Chillin'.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna have
He was
to.
on my list too.
Y'all gonna have to let me know, but Biz,
Yeah.
G Rap, I think everybody was on it. Marley,
Roxanne Shante.
Roxanne Shante, yeah, like everybody. I think that was the first time. You know, I obviously we knew Def Jam, but I think that was the first time I looked at a label like, damn, you know, they got a roster. You know what I'm saying? With because all of them were kind of Master Ace, all of them were kind of hitting. Craig G were all kind of hitting around the same time, as far as singles and albums. And one thing that I guess that's going to be basically a routine with everybody and who they name as far as labels is, you know, everybody kind of had a movement as a label. You know what I'm saying? Had that moment where you had all these different dudes on your rosters dropping albums. Favorite albums, obviously, Kane's first 2 albums. Biz's first album, Going Off, which is an underappreciated classic that will be celebrating 30 years this year.
Oh, wow.
I think next week. I got an article I'm trying to work on for that. Jesus Take the Wheel. I just got too much to do. I'm like, yo, I can't write that. But yeah, who else was on it? Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, Kool G Rap. Damn near all of his albums. Probably my favorite, mainly because it was the one I had money to buy. It was Live and Let Die. What was it again?
Yeah.
That's the third album. That's his third album.
Third album, yeah. I really like that album. Kind of like what the homies Vern said about Too Short, man. All that violence and cuss words and violent ass album cover. I was in for all of it. I was just like, yeah, this look violent. I'm gonna listen to it quietly in my room.
Quietly in your room.
Yeah, like if my mom's heard it, it'd be like, yo, what the hell is that? But yeah, man, Cold Chillin'.
All right.
I got a question. What album was Ill Street Blues on?
That was the Live and Let Die joint.
Bruh, it's etched in my memory. At least 3 parties I went to were destroyed. When that song came on, bottles thrown, chairs thrown, straight out brawls, man, when that song came on, man.
Yo, we was talking about that at the last live podcast. Iran was saying how whenever you played Top Billing, you know what I mean? And there was something about that. He said it was the hypnotizing part of Go Brooklyn. Go Brooklyn. You just heard, you hear that for 2 minutes, something inside your brain just
clicks.
And you just end up hitting somebody or something. Because he was like, yo, I can't tell you how many people got stomped out the Top Billing. Like, that was just a get stomped out song. So, yeah. And then also on Cold Chillin', 2 cats that people sometimes forget. Granddaddy IU was on Cold Chillin'. And also Biz's cousin Diamond Shell. He had one joint out. It was kind of cool, but you know, not none of the heavy hitters. And then MC Shan. We always forget.
Yeah, I was about to mention him, and I never felt him. I never could feel that. So I'm sorry.
With your cousin.
I rock with the Bridge, and like it's probably 2 or 3 songs, but I always looked at him like a broke, skinny LL. So I think that was like the bad part. It was like, you know, like you see Lorenz Tate, then you see Lorenz Tate brother, and it's like, oh, you
Larry Tate.
That's how I was like, you see LL, you see Cher, like, oh, nigga, get out of here. Ain't nobody. Yeah, he's a different color Kango, but sporting the brand Kango too.
Yeah,
you gotta get another color, man. You gotta come better than that.
Right.
I feel you. JR is our soul specialist. This dude.
Oh, but no, my first one was gonna be a hip hop though.
All right, my bad. I was just letting folk know that JR is gonna be on here to school us, because you see all these records in the back, and I always talk about how producers, we act like we know everything about these records. Most of us don't. You know what I mean? JR is the dude who can tell you all the background of these records and all that. So that's why I bring him on. So, but JR, get started with your first joint.
My first one was going with what cousin said. I was gonna say Sugar Hill because it started it all. So you know, Funky 4 +1, Grandmaster Flash, Treacherous 3. So I was gonna go there because I was like, that started everything. So that's why that was gonna be on my list.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. Tone, what you got for us?
I'm gonna go with Loud Records. You know what I'm saying? Because I rock real hard with Loud Records. You got Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers. You got that Mobb Deep. Infamous is one of my favorites. That's one of my top 3 or 4 albums personally. It's in my car right now. It's been in my car since I can't tell you how many years, yo. Real talk. Big Pun, Capital Punishment. We talked about this a couple of episodes ago. One of the best albums I've ever heard. Dead Prayers, Let's Get Free. You know what I'm saying? And the Exhibit, man, At the Speed of Life. You know what I'm saying? I still rock with that joint as well, man. So Loud Records had some hits. They was banged in the streets. It kind of came out of nowhere to me. I didn't expect them to be that dope, but they really put out some nice albums over the mid to late 90s.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Loud Records, yo.
What would you say is your favorite release off of Loud?
Oh man, I tinker between 36 Chambers and the Infamous, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna go with the Infamous because that's the one that gets the most play in the ride.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. Loud was definitely one of mine. Steve Rifkin started back in '91. They just had that roster. I mean, they had Ray, they had Pete,
yep,
and the Alcoholics. I know a lot of cats don't remember them out of Brooklyn, the Cellar Dwellers. You know what I mean? They were on there. Yeah. They had the lineup. And for me, my favorite joint off of Loud was either gonna be Ray's Built for Cuban Links or Pete's Soul Survivor. I love Soul Survivor, man. Soul Survivor, just like you saw about the Infamous, that's how I am with Soul Survivor. Like I could listen to that every day. So that was one of mine. But since everybody named so many joints, I'm gonna start off with Tommy Boy. One of the ill logos, just the B-Boy and the B-Boy stands. You talking about De La Soul, you talking about Queen Latifah, Naughty by Nature, Digital Underground, one of the most slept on groups, the original hip hop band, Stetsasonic.
Yeah.
Tommy Boy Records. You talking about Sally. Some people don't know how Sally walks, like, you know, in full gear, that talking all that jazz, like, yo,
yeah, man.
It was the classics on Tommy Boy. And I probably have to say my favorite release off of Tommy Boy's De La Soul is Dead. That joint just, you know, I'll never forget going to my man Cool DJ Frank house down the street from me, and he played me that Ring, 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 Hey, Hey, Hey. I was just blown away. I was like hypnotized, like, yo, this song is incredible, man. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Tommy Boy. Joanna, what's another joint that you got?
I got Profile Records. So that's, you know, Dana Dane.
Yep. Hell yeah.
Sweet Tea, Jazzy Boy.
You got me. I'm about to start pulling out CDs.
Special Ed, even though he was not really like, he didn't keep flowing with the hits, but you know, he was that was my song right there. That Special Ed joint. And
man, yeah, these joints right here. These
Run DMC
joints, man.
Run DMC started there.
Yep.
So, you know, Sucker MCs, you can't get no better than that, really. So, Sucker MCs, 3-6 Mafia was on there too. But I would have to say Run DMC, Sucker MCs in terms of, you know, that and Nightmares, Dana Dane, Nightmares, you know, The Story.
Oh yeah,
Dr. Slumber.
That's right. You can't.
Dr. Slumber.
Yeah.
So that's what I got with Profile.
No doubt, no doubt.
As you can see, I can't pick one favorite.
Nah, man. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I think, and those are the days that I think a lot of younger cats don't understand about hip hop is when you could just have fun with it. Like, you know, Dana Dane is like on some old. He's Cinderella in the Fort Greene projects. You know what I mean? Like, you could just have fun with it and have fun with hip hop, and you know, this be the death beat with Clark Kent, and you know, just being able to just chill. And Special Ed, I mean, to think about it. I mean,
Taxon, come on, man.
Oh God, man. You know, and cats sleep on a second joint, Legal, man. Special Ed's second album is dope. I think the album cover just kind of caught him off guard because it looked like he was trying to be a model or something. That second joint had The Mission. Yo,
the second one better than the first one to me.
I can't go that far, but I like it. But it's dope.
Dust that one off.
Yeah, it's dope. Legal is dope.
Listen to both of them again.
Yeah, legal is dope. People don't talk about it. It's an extremely dope album. Now I feel you. Profile was definitely dope, but it wasn't Chubb Rock on Profile.
I think so.
He was.
No, I wasn't on Select. I can't remember, but if Chubb was on Profile, that was and Howie T is a lot of people don't talk about who was doing that special ed stuff. And Howie T in the Dollar Cab Lab Studios in Brooklyn. Yeah, that used to. Yeah, you taking me back, cuz.
That he went to school right over there in the hood. He was a hood guy, special ed. You know, he was just a regular cat walking around. Yeah. So he had land in the sand of the West Indies.
Yeah, that was my favorite. Dude did that album when he's 16, bro. Those lyrics hold up today, bro. I mean, I listened to that album like regularly.
Yeah. I always say those are good old days. You remember in Juice when Special Ed scooped up Raheem Girl in the Jetta Volkswagen. Like, you can have a Volkswagen. Sure, you have to have no Benz and no Wraith. I have a Wraith. Back in the day, you just pull up in a Volkswagen and scooped up Raheem Girl right under his nose, too. So, Vern, what's good, man? What's another label you got, man?
So y'all took my Tommy Boy and you took Cold Chillin'. So, all right, I'm going to go with a Death Row, bro. I mean, for what they did to hip hop, one of my all-time top 10 favorite hip hop albums, DOC. No one could do it better. Just ridiculous from start to finish. Obviously,
I gotta cut you again, bro. That's actually on priority.
Man, see, the internet is whack, then, bro. So, all right, well, scratch that.
We playing spades. I gotta cut you on that one. That was way back. That was before they even started Death Row.
Yep. Okay, well, I'm with the Chronic then. How about that? I know that's on Death Row.
You good with that, bro?
And the Chronic, Say No More, Doggy Style, Dog Pound, Lady Rage, Nate. Didn't Warren G do some joints with the Dog Pound? I mean, with Death Row.
He was on Def Jam though.
He wasn't on Death Row. He was with that crew, but he was on Def Jam.
Yeah. He probably did a lot of production that he didn't get credit for. But so I'm gonna just go with those.
Yeah, Death Row is dope. Have any of y'all been watching that 3 night? I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I haven't.
I think you started, but is it dope, Tom?
You know what? I knew a lot of the information because I've been following shit so long or whatever. But I think it's pretty dope for people who just trying to get some information on Death Row, and Suge did a whole lot of narration from jail and stuff too. But it's got some dope parts to it. It's good, it's solid.
All right. And I don't know if y'all up. What happened?
Yeah, go ahead and check it out though.
Yeah, I DVR'd. I just know I was going to be crazy busy this week. And there's also a dope book by Ronin Rowe called Have Gun Will Travel about life on death row during those times.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy book. Oh, my God. Some of the stuff he put in that book, like, good Lord, man. Like,
what is it now? What's the book?
I'll check that out.
Have Gun Will Travel by Ronin, Ronin Rowe, R-O.
You can write for the source.
Okay.
Yeah, like Suge was letting cats get raped up in death row.
Yeah, no, I know some cats who 2 degrees away from yeah.
So, I mean, they got some stories in there like this. They was on some real gangster stuff back then. But yeah, Death Row. What you got next, Veg?
I got Priority Records as a whole, which includes Death Row, Ruthless Records, also includes Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah,
because it wasn't on Def Jam, it was on Priority.
Right.
Master P, MC Ren, who else? Ice-T, Cypress Hill.
You had Helter Skelter on there too, if I'm not mistaken, on Priority when Def Day was getting distributed by Duck Down was getting distributed by Priority.
MC8, Razkaz, EPMD at some point. Who else is on here? Shit, to say Most Def. I don't know about that one though. But yeah, man, really more so for the West Coast hip hop, because when I was younger, well, even now, I was a big fan of West Coast hip hop because it was so different from what I was used to, which is East Coast hip hop, and seemed like for a minute it was always, well, at least the gangster rap was so real and vivid, and the type of tracks they chose to rhyme off of, and it was crazy because, you know, you would never think of Priority as a label like a Death Row or Rockefeller or labels like that, but there was just a minute where they were just signing up gangster rap like crazy, and they did it throughout the years. You know what I'm saying? And they had a lot of classics. They got a lot of hit records, you know, under their belts from some of these guys. But yeah, man, Priority Records, like it got to a point where I used to see Priority Records on there and just knew it was fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, I don't even know who this dude is, but they Priority, he must be hot. And my favorite is probably by default because it's just a personal favorite of mine. Is Ice Cube's Death Certificate. I just feel like that album is just so complete on so many levels, and it spoke to me as a kid, you know, buying it when I wasn't supposed to, and you know, listening to it on the low because it got all the cuss words and stuff in there. But yeah, that would be my favorite on out of all of the dope classics from Priority Records.
All right, no doubt. JR, who you got?
My first one is Philly Soul, actually. Of course, the Intruders, the OJs, the Drells, Have Nothing in the Blue Notes, Mother, Father, Sister, Brother, the Tramps, so many. And I think my favorite album off of Philly Soul would have to be the OJ Ship Ahoy. That's For the Love of Money, Put Your Hands Together, Now That We Found Love, Ship Ahoy, all that. So that's my.
All right, what would your favorite group be off that label? Was it the OJs too?
Yep.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. Tom, what you got up next?
I'm gonna go with Bad Boy, man.
Okay.
And real talk, you know, I know Puffy is hit and miss with some people, but Bad Boy might be the most complete label in the 90s to me. I'm gonna tell you why. You go to the extremes of having Biggie Smalls, Ready to Die. Then you got Total's debut. You got Faith Evans debut. You got 112 debut. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, come on, man. You know, you got As Soon As I Get Home, and then you got, you know, some shit from Life After Death. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really think too many people are touching Bad Boy. You know what I'm saying? So my artists on there is Biggie, The Lox, Total, Black Rob, and G-Dep. I'm really feeling G-Dep, Child of the Ghetto joint, man. It's sick. Yeah. Black Rob, Life Story is a classic to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go with Bad Boy, man. Hit after hit, from underground hard joints to club joints. Nobody was fucking with Puff, for real.
Yeah.
That's why
I was just
might be number one with me.
I was just Black Rob the other day.
Yeah, crazy.
All right, no doubt. The next joint I got up, I don't know if a lot of cats remember this label. It's called Fresh Sleeping Bag Records.
Yep.
I mean, on Fresh, you had EPMD. You had, this is back when EPMD was with them on this album. For, you know, kids who may not know, that was the Fresh logo right there. So they had Mantronics. They had Nice and Smooth. They had Just Ice. They had Tila Rock. They also had these two shorties I rock with. They had this shorty named Nocera, and they used to do club music too. Fresh used to do club music. So Nocera had this joint out called Summertime, which is banging. If you my age, there you go. All you gotta do is Google it. If you my age, the name may not catch you, but just Google Nocera Summertime. A smile will come to your face. They also had this other shorty, Joyce Sims. She had this joint called You Are My All in All. That
was all. Yeah, I know that one. You know, I was in the club, so right. That's
I spell Nocera.
Nocera.
That's summertime, day.
Yep, exactly. Nocera is Nocera.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. Wow.
So a lot of folk may not remember or know, for younger viewers, that in the 80s, you still were having your club music. So a lot of these labels who had club music from the early 80s coming up would then sign in hip hop groups. So you would have a label that would have Just Ice, EPMD, and Mantronics, and then turn around and have R&B shorties, you know, on a label too. But yeah, Fresh record. I mean, Mantronics. I mean, where's the Mantronics joint down here?
Mantronics is the word. You know what? Now I'm gonna have to go and get all these.
You know what I mean? Like, for cats who don't know, this is Mantronics, one of the dopest producers. you know, just Google Fresh is the word. But yeah, I gotta go with Fresh Records, one of my favorite at that time. Oh, and a sleeper out of Philly, a lot of people may not know about DJ Cash Money and Marvelous. They were like the broke Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince. But
wait, what's their name again?
I'm
not telling a joke. I just didn't hear it because.
Nah, it's Cash Money and Marvelous. They used to have a song called "Ugly People Be Quiet."
Yeah, I remember.
Find the ugly woman.
Yeah.
Find the ugly woman. And basically, Cash was nice. Cash, actually, if you can see in the joint, he won the belt. So Cash is one of the dopest DJs like ever. But Marvelous was kind of the equivalent of Fresh Prince, who was kind of corny with the rhymes, and he was worse than Will. So they was kind of like yeah.
That's bad, man.
Yo, back in the Rock the House days, Will was alright, man. Will was not the Will Smith that we know now. Like, he used to come to Union Square and shut shit down. He used to go to Latin Quarters and not the Will Smith Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but yeah, but this was a dope joint too. So yeah. Joanna, what you got for your next one?
Well, it looks like the last one I had was already covered with Ruthless, because I listened to Fuck the Police quite a bit. NWA was on Ruthless. So was Bone Thugs and Harmony. They had a couple things that I liked too. Of course, Michelle A. Had that slow jam, that disco.
Something in my heart.
Something in my heart, right there, man. That's
I remember bugging completely out when I heard her talk. Because her voice was nothing like her singing voice. She had that really high pitched squeaky thing going on. But yeah, that NWA was definitely, for me, when I began to see really how the media tried to play us and portray us. You know, they were really, the government, everybody was coming down on them because they was singing "Fuck the Police." You know, it was all in the newspaper. It was everywhere. They were talking about it in Congress. Like, this was like a really big thing. These guys and what they did with that. So I definitely want to give NWA their props. And of course, Michelle A. hers.
No doubt. Just forgot, this is another one of my favorite joints off of Profile. Later on, was the Camp Low Uptown Saturday Night was actually on Profile too. So joint a lot of people, you know, don't talk about, but I love this joint right here. Vern, what's another label you got?
I got to go grasp at straws, but I'm gonna go. You don't want to make a pitch that's wild. You're going wild pitch. You got OC. Large Pro was on that joint. Obviously, Main Source. You know, Breaking Atoms, The Cool. Your favorite group, one of your favorite groups, Kill, Ultramagnetic MCs.
Yes, sir.
And one of my favorite albums, just because it made the way it made me feel, that UMC's Fruits of Nature was on that joint. So I'm gonna pull Wild Pitch out.
Yeah, no doubt. That I just pulled that up. Lord Finesse, like you said, the UMC's joint definitely. And then, I mean, just coming with that Main Source, Breaking Atoms, man. That just, you know, to me, one of my favorite albums ever. So, yeah, that's definitely a dope joint. Bay, who you got up next?
Loud Records. Like you said earlier, Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, Raekwon, Pun, Exhibit. Who else was on here? The Alcoholics, Pete Rock, Beat Nuts, MOP in the beginning, Funk Flex albums that he put out, you know, Cellar Dwellers, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole roster of cats. I like Loud Records because it was, you know, even though it came out at a time where, you know, a lot of the sound was similar on different labels, something about Loud Records just felt underground, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just seemed like they only really signed a certain type of MC with a certain type of pedigree. And, you know, and Cats was unique. They wasn't signing dudes that sounded like, at all, because you got Wu-Tang here, then you got Pun here, and then you got Mobb Deep and MOP and stuff like that. So I always felt like Loud Records was like a real hip hop label. You know what I'm saying? My favorite is probably Infamous, because when I first heard Infamous by Mobb Deep, I was actually kind of surprised because I did hear Juvenile Hell before, which was their original first album or debut album. And I remember, not really liking it that much besides one or two tracks. So when I heard the Infamous, it's one of the moments where you going from track to track and you like, damn, I don't think there's a whack record on here. Like not even an okay record on here. Mm-hmm. That was an instant like repeat once it ended. Like, you know what I'm saying? That it was just one of them dope albums, complete classic song and shook ones, classic guest appearances from Nas and Raekwon on Eye for an Eye. You know what I'm saying? Just so many Give Up the Goods, so many dope records on there. And, even the subject matter, from talking about dudes getting locked up and, drink away the pain and, just to show that cats wasn't just kill on records. They actually, all of it was negative in some way, but it was their reality. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's probably my favorite out of all of the releases they had on Loud Records.
And the thing I loved about the Infamous is that you sometimes forget how dope the original joints was because you heard the remixes, like Right Back at You. Like I listened to the remix, it was on the Sunset Park soundtrack so much, I forgot just how hard the original Right Back at You was.
Yeah,
which was crazy. You know what I mean? So same thing like with Black Moon, I would always forget how dope the original I Got You Open was, because I just always would hear the remix in my head. The original Got You Open was crazy. So yeah, I definitely feel you on that. JR, what's your next joint?
Uptown Records.
Uptown.
Of course, Jodeci Guy. I'll be sure. Jeff Red. And of course, the Queen Mary. Do not start Vegas.
Look. Mary was looking good in that.
Don't start. I don't start.
He just was dancing like Fear the Walking Dead.
Don't start.
Yo, bro, come on, man. We all know Mary can't dance, man. Come on.
Don't start.
Yeah.
Leave Mary alone.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yo, she can't dance, but she can cook. She can sell chicken, man. It's all good, man. Let's.
He's gonna kill me for banging on.
No. But but my favorite, of course,
wake up every now and then.
And my favorite on there is My Life, of course, like a classic, beginning to end. That's my favorite album ever. So that's why I got to throw Uptown on there.
Yo, do you remember the joint? They had out this compilation album called Uptown's Kicking It. I wish I had the vinyl. And it had a cat.
I heard about that, but I never heard it.
It had a cat like leaning on a car. It had Groove Beat Chill on there.
Vanessa Sinquist.
Remember
that video? They was in there. They was killing it at the boardroom. Yeah,
exactly.
Is that the album Self Destruction is on?
Nah. That wasn't that joint. I got
you know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Because Vanessa Sinquist was on Uptown Records.
Right.
This joint back in the day, these were like the fake Salt and Pepper. Like that's the funny thing about hip hop. Let me stop disrespecting people. They wasn't the fake Salt and Pepper. They was themselves. But you had like two of every person. Like it was like a comic book with like the art. It was Dog Road. Like because they would say like you got these two chicks, MCM, like, come on, this Salt and Pepper. Same thing, you had Slick Rick, then you had Dana Dan. Like, it was two of everybody at one point in hip hop.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, Vanessa Sinquist was definitely dope, man. Definitely.
I got a quick story. Don't worry, it's not bad.
Yeah, who didn't write they
who Ghost wrote, man?
It's not bad. But the thing is, like what you say about, two of everybody. I remember my cousin Will, God rest his dead. He used to have, like the Word Up magazine pictures and the Right On pictures on his wall. That's not just a verse. We all did that. Biggie just was on point.
Yeah.
We all did that shit. You go to people's house, you go look on their wall and shit, like, yo, where I got that one. Like, but I remember, like, he had Finesse and Sequence on there, and I used to feel that way too, because they would dress like Salt-N-Pepa. But I remember this was before I even knew who D-Nice was, because he was in a picture with KRS-One, and I was just looking, and I was so embarrassed to ask my cousin, and I was just like, yo, is that Nasir right there? And he was looking at me like, what? Nasir not in rap, but look what happened. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, but yo, in the picture, he looked so much like him to me. I used to think that was his friend, Nasir, who wound up being Nas and being in them damn magazines. So it's crazy that you would say that, but that was just a moment you made me think about that, where I was feeling like, well, damn, he looked like his ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I'm telling you, hip hop, that's the thing, man. We may have to do just an era thing, because I'm still bugged that so many people who follow me on Twitter or watch this are so much younger. Like, I'm talking like 32 and under. You know what I mean? But they don't understand how hip hop house was a thing. Like, everybody had to have a hip hop house song. You know what I mean? They don't understand that phase, or everybody had a slow jam on their album. You know what I mean? Like, there were just so many phases hip hop went through. So yeah, it was that phase when there was two of everybody out there. Hell, Diggable Planets and the Fugees, you know, two girls and a guy. Like, it was just, you just started to see carbon copies and everything like that. But yeah, Uptown was definitely a dope pick, JR. Definitely Andre Harrell, visionary beyond means. You know, sad to see he couldn't pull the same thing off at Motown when he went up there. But
he never left.
Yeah. But yeah, those joints, Uptown, the Uptown Unplugged is still classic, man. That's still classic right there. All right, so what you got up next, man?
I'm gonna go ahead and get Rockefeller Records out the way. I mean, what Jay-Z and Kanye did just alone is enough to carry a label. You look at just his discography. I don't need to say it all out, but you know, Jay-Z albums, then you got the Kanye joints. Then I personally like that Christian album, Ghetto Cyrano, a very slept-on joint. They just didn't know what to do with Christian, man. They had the package, they had the look, the voice. Man, that Up in Smoke or whatever that song is, man, that shit's crazy, man. Like, Christian had a chance to have like a real career. And Dame Dash and them dropped the ball with that group, man. It's
and
really
they came out the same time that like the neo soul was popping off, so they could have in there, yo.
They still listen to that album, man. It's pretty much
I do too. Oh.
But you know what? And then again, trust me, I'm in no way trying to take up for Dame Dash of all people. But I don't know if he dropped the ball or if we weren't ready for that yet. You know what I mean? Like
a combination of the two. I don't know.
Yeah, because I think we cats just weren't ready. If that would have, because what year did that drop?
96, 97.
97.
I think we was ready for it then.
Yeah, maybe they did drop it.
I mean, we had D'Angelo, and then we had.
Right. I think we was ready.
Yeah, my bad. I thought it dropped earlier than that. My bad, Tom. Keep going, man.
Oh, that's all good, man. But again, with Rockefeller, with the movement, yeah, DJ Clue joined the Professional. You know what I'm saying? I really like that joint. I mean, he was one of the first ones. I was like, yo, this mixtape joint is real hot. You know what I'm saying? Because he's one of the first ones for me. Siegel joints, man. Just looking down the list. Cameron, Come Home With Me.
Yes, sir. That was it right there.
Jay-Z, American Gangster, man. It was really Kanye, My Dog Twisted. I mean, they held it down, man. It came from Rockefeller Records. Man. They really had a lot of gems, man. Probably 7, 8 classic albums if you really think about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with them for my third pick.
Yeah, you come to think about it, you probably right, being that I don't know if they really had a really good marketing or a real good artist and development, because they did the same thing with Rel. Rel could sing. Rel was.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, I think they may have had the site to make this whole complete thing, like kind of like what you were saying about Puff, where you could listen to Big and then turn around and listen to Total. Probably same thing. You could listen to Jay, then turn around and listen to Rel. But I just don't think they knew like that R&B, the R&B like that.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they just had the idea to do it, but just didn't know how to do it. Same thing, because I always felt like they dropped the ball with Bleak. Like, I always felt like they was trying to make him be the next Jay, And I'm like, yo, just let Bleak rhyme over real beats. Like, just let Bleak be Bleak. Like, but they kept trying to push him songs and everything like that, and just never panned out for the boy. The next label I'm going with is Elektra Records. Like the mid '90s, you talking about Brand Nubians, One for All. You talking about PL's both albums. You talking about Busta's albums. You talking about Diggable. You talking about Flip Mode, KMD. Leaders of the New School, Old Dirty Bastard, Rod Digger. Like that lineup right there in the '90s was stupid.
DOS Effects? Wasn't DOS Effects on?
I think
DOS Effects was on East West. They was on East West Records. But yeah, like I mean, with that lineup right there, you talking about classic album. You talking about Leader's first album, KMD with the Peach Fuzz, Brand Nubians. I mean, like I said, it was just a dope album and a dope label. And I know Pete was supposed to be doing his Soul Brother Records under Elektra, but something happened. So you talking about the I&I album that never came out, the D-Dot Baby album that never came out, but Elektra Records was definitely dope. And I probably have to say my favorite joint, probably Brand Nubian's first album, One for All. Man. I remember being a senior in high school and going to a college fair and just listening to that on my Walkman like all day. Like it just, you know, the old Walkmans that had the auto reverse, so you ain't even have to take it out and turn it on.
Oh, my batteries in the freezer.
The spring buttons would just click. They click back and it click. You don't have to take it out no more. You just put your headphones on. That was like continuous play. That was like that was no continuous play.
Put your batteries in the freezer.
Yeah, put your batteries. All kinds of wild stuff that you would do. So yeah, I just remember having that on my wall. I mean, I literally listened to that from like 8 in the morning to like 6 p.m. just straight. Like I ain't get no college applications that day. I was just walking around with headphones on all day because it was a free day. You could either go to a college fair or go to school. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to college fair. I ain't even do nothing, but it was better than going to school. But yeah, I gotta say that One for All, man, because that was just an incredible album to me.
Not wanting to get off the subject, but I just recently mentioned to one of my kids how happy I was when Auto Reverse came out because I used to be riding the train and had to turn my tape over. It was such an inconvenience to have to turn your tape over on a crowded train. When Auto Reverse came out, I was so happy. Sony was the one. Sony and Toshiba, they had that Auto Reverse. Wow. I was so happy for that.
Now, here's the negative thing with Auto Reverse. I'll never forget, my manager at Foot Locker in high school kept his headphones on, fell asleep with them on all night, bust his eardrums. Because this Auto Reverse just kept playing it all night. So, dude, just... Yeah, like bust his eardrums because he would always listen to music loud. He's like, yo, I fell asleep. I'm like, nigga, how you even fall asleep with that loud music? Wow. Playing it all night for that nigga. Like he went to sleep and woke up. So, but yeah, for y'all young folk, Google Auto Reverse. You know, like I don't know if y'all ever see them things, man. If y'all ever be bored one day, look, Google YouTube and they'll take a tape and give it to a kid, be like, what do you do with this? You know what I mean? It's trying to swipe the tape and everything like that. They like, well, where do you put it? You know, so yeah. So, but yeah, Auto Reverse was the shit. All right, Joanna, which one of you got any more for us?
So I thought long and hard about this one, but I'm gonna have to give Jermaine Dupri his props.
Okay.
So Def.
Okay.
We had a couple of people on there that I really, really liked. Of course, we had Criss Cross. Y'all know that one, Criss Cross. I believe Jagged Edge was on there. Yeah, who else he had? I mean, come on, help me out.
He had the Brad.
TLC, right?
TLC was on LaFace.
LaFace.
Yeah, also that was really just the Brad, Cross, and like Escape.
Brad, I think, was on there for a minute.
Yeah.
The Brad was on there. I remember for me, when I lived in Atlanta, you know, New Yorkers and you Brooklyn folks can back me up on that. You know, when we're here, what we hear here is what we love, right? So, you know, there were little songs that would come on the radio every now and then, but really we embraced our artists from the borough. Like that's just real talk. You know, New York, that's the way it was. And when I moved to Atlanta and I was hearing these guys, I was like, what is this? You know, this different type of sound. I really started listening to Da Brat down there. There's a whole bunch of other artists I was exposed to. The 69 Boys, I think that's what those cats are called.
What year were you in Decatur?
I was in Decatur. How you know I was in Decatur? I was in Decatur down there in 90, 95. So, you know, that's down there. You know, Magic City was still open.
A lot of book money was spent at Magic City, but that's
you know. So that's where I started hearing all this music, and I really did like that sound. So I got to give it to him for that.
Yeah. Anthony Hamilton's debut is on Social Death also.
Yeah. Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I was down in Decatur. I lived in Decatur from 97 to 99. And one thing I could say about Atlanta, I feel you. Once you get there, like ATLiens had just come out. And let me explain something to you, man. Everywhere you went in the state of Georgia, like, I think I have so much love for that album. I don't think I would love that album as much as I do if I wasn't in Atlanta. And I still would give it 5 mics even if I never moved to Atlanta. But being in Atlanta, when that came out, man, that may get 10 mics. They're like, I mean, the city, Atlanta is just another beast, man. It's a whole new beast down there, man.
Yep.
I'm glad y'all bringing this up because it's gonna go into my next label, and I'm gonna explain why you just said what you said. So LaFace, and it ain't a huge roster for hip hop, but it doesn't have to be. Outkast, Goody Mob, you know, TLC. So, man, for so long, and this is why we ride so hard for Organized Noise. I put them out there as well. Jermaine Dupri, you know, cool, but Jermaine Dupri kind of was a carbon copy of whatever. He had Silk Times leather, you know, to try to be like Salt and Pepper. Chris Cross, you know, he kind of bit.
Right.
Yeah, I always felt like he was like the broke Puffy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop saying broke. He was the down south Puffy. I didn't say broke. I ain't calling nobody broke. He was the down south Puff.
Yeah, I mean, he came up in hip hop. He was Houdini's dancer and stuff. But as far as Atlanta cats, we don't really rock with Jermaine like that. I mean, give him his props for, you know, doing what he did. But Outkast, man, I remember, I'll never forget this. 2 of my homies, you know, they produced this stuff, and they used to go to summer school with Rico and them. So and this was when we were trying to get in the industry. We hooked up with them, and Rico was like, come on through. We went to the original dungeon. We walked down the rickety stairs. You know, you got clay on the walls and stuff. It had this joint bumping. We was like, man, who is that? He said, man, it's this little group we working on. Matter of fact, man, they doing a showcase for LA and them this weekend. Y'all should come through. Of course, that little group was Outkast. So Outkast was the first thing that we had that was authentically ours. Matter of fact, not to big up somebody else's show, but Combat Jack did a podcast with
Please big up. Ain't no it's all love out here in these podcast streets. Please big them up.
Organized Noise did a live joint on there, man. And like Reek was saying, we never had nothing that was on. We had booty shake music when I moved down here. You know, 200 beats per minute, 2 Live Crew, and all that stuff. So when Outkast came out, man, we all embraced it because the flows was good. Because that was the other thing about hip hop and rap before then. You know, some of them dudes just couldn't rap. They was whack. They couldn't stand up to your New York, you know, your Brooklyn. We wanted to be like that in the sense of having a skill level. So that's why Atlanta embraced Outkast so much. And then Goody Mob comes along on a whole different vein, man. It's like, okay, because we used to roll with Speech and Arrest Development too. But anyway, that was a little bit more earthy. But Goody Mob was them cats that you might see in the SWAT, so see in Decatur, but that still has some knowledge, man. So you got the streets and the knowledge together, man. And that's why LaFace getting those 2 groups in there, man, just changed the whole hip hop in the South, man. So I'm gonna go with LaFace.
Man, please don't stop with the hip hop, man. I was banging Tony. My best Tony Braxton mixed it up in the while I was cutting hair all day in my teen center. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Tony was the truth, man. Like, I know a lot of cats front on her, but
that girl can sing, man. Yeah. I mean, LaFace was running music for some years, man.
Yeah. Oh, Tony Braxton's debut album is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of cats. In fact, I'm dropping it tonight, my Best of Tony mixtape, because a lot of people didn't listen to the albums after that, you know. But she has, I won't say she's had a good whole album, but she's had a good collection of songs throughout the years that I know most folk haven't heard because they probably wrote her off. I used to always say the difference with Tony, I felt like Tony used to write anthems, and now she just was writing songs, and it was a big difference because when Tony came out, That Love Should Have Brought You Home, that was an anthem for women. You know what I mean?
Oh, 7 whole days and all that.
These were not songs; these were anthems.
Yeah, you know Breathe Again.
Breathe Again, like these were like, yo, that's like, you know, I'll never forget when Mary came out with the Knock on Cry, John. Yo, that took Mary from just hood folk to everybody. That's when people's mothers started liking Mary. You know what I mean? Because it was like that song, that was an anthem for women. That Not Gonna Cry. So that's what Tony did. But yeah, I love Tony to death, man.
Unbreak My Heart, dude. The crescendos, and I mean, dude, that you can feel the passion in that song.
Yeah. Tony can blow.
And that's about to marry Birdman, which I'm, you know, have mixed emotions about, but I digress.
What's that? What you said?
She married Birdman.
She's about to marry Birdman, which is, you know, kind of odd to me, but I digress.
I don't know, man. She on them drugs, man.
I can't even come to her defense right now.
Nah, she you know,
Nah.
Yeah. All right, Vay, what you got next, man?
I got Rockefeller.
Okay.
Obviously, Jay-Z. You know, just hit after hit. But as a label, you know, not only the albums, because Bleak had, like, I never really liked there's one Bleak album that I really like, but I never really liked a lot of Bleak's albums. I didn't like the first two Beanie albums as a whole. You know, I liked songs, obviously, but I kind of felt like with Bleak and Beanie, as far as albums, it was just feeling like it was almost there until, you know, albums like The Becoming, which I feel like that is hands down his best album. But as a label, with the singles, the albums, the freestyles on mixtapes, coming up to the radio stations and freestyling, the battles they did with other MCs, like just the movement, the producers they had in their camp, you know what I'm saying? It just when they brought Cam on, and they were gonna sign Big L. Just as a label, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, Jay-Z was leading the charge, and he was probably he was the main thing about that label that was hot. But they just did so much, you know what I'm saying, that was dope, and it was about bars, but they still had, you know, like party hits and stuff like that. Because one thing that I always say about Jay-Z and probably all of them, because Beanie could be included in that as well, definitely big, but they always knew how to make a record for radio but keep lyrics in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be a catchy hook, it could be a catchy beat that you know is for radio, but there was bars, there was punchlines in there within those records. And typically, you know, if you made a party record, it was supposed to be really basic. But Jay-Z was a master at that, and Bleak was able to do that in a couple of his records. Same thing with Beanie. It was just a state property as a whole. Petey Crack, especially Petey Crack, Freeway. My favorite album, Rockefeller album, it's probably Reasonable Doubt, and I believe that I either wrote something about this or something or whatever. But like with Reasonable Doubt, when I first heard it, I think came out in '96, came out the same summer as it was written.
Yeah.
And I was working in Manhattan near the World Trade Center for the summer or whatever, and I remember buying both of those albums. And I remember, you know, it was written, you know, I liked that joint off the break. But with Reasonable Doubt, originally I didn't like it because of, you know, I felt like the beats weren't to the point where he could say, you know, Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas. You know what I'm saying? I felt like when you listen to Nas beats at that time, they were way better than Jay's beats. Same thing with Big and everybody else. But with Reasonable Doubt, that joint grew on me based off of Jay-Z's rhymes. And like over time, it became an album that I could just listen to. You know what I'm saying? All the time. Like there was a point where it might have been 2 years old, and I was listening to it every day when I was at Morgan. So obviously, you know, that's probably my favorite album off of Rockefeller, with The Becoming probably being a close second.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. JR, what you got up next?
Stat. The Staple Singers, Carla Thomas, Emotions, everybody. And I think my favorite album, because Stack's not really known for their albums until like the 70s, to be honest with you, because in the 60s, nobody really cared about albums. It was all about singles. So I'm going to say King and Queen by Otis and Carla Thomas, that album right there, when they did a lot of covers and Tramp and all that. So that's
all right, no doubt. Tone, what you got up next, man?
Yeah, Death Row. Yeah, you know, come on, man. Being in North Carolina, man, we love Death Row just as much as we love it in a New York label or artist, man. Death Row was huge in North Carolina, where I'm from. And, of course, The Chronic, to me, is still probably one of the probably top 5 hip-hop albums of all time. It's like the soundtrack to the L.A. riots and all of that good shit. So it's pretty much flawless, and Snoop Dogg was pretty much the MC for The Chronic. You know what I'm saying? So The Chronic, you got Doggy Style, All Eyes on Me. I love that dog food album by the Dog Pound. Corrupt was insane on that album. Lyrically, he was going at New York. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he a Philly cat, I believe, anyway, original or something like that or what. But he was going at the East Coast. Machiavelli and the Above the Rim soundtrack, man. Like DJ Quick, Devontae, all them guys, man, they put together a dope ass soundtrack with that Above the Rim. It had that the Pac Pain on there, was my favorite Tupac song.
But you know, the funny thing about that Pain joint, it wasn't on a CD. It was like only on
the tape.
Yeah,
where y'all do that at? That was the whole point of buying a CD, was to get the bonus song.
Well, you know, that same thing that happened with Nas. It was written, it had Silent Murder on the damn tape, but Silent Murder wasn't on the CD. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was kind of the same thing. But yeah, man, Death Row, the impact again. How it brought Dr. Dre took West Coast to another level before he left. Of course, Pac came, and it really could have been even more special, but people don't realize Pac was only on Death Row for a year. And he was dead. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So all of that shit happened in 12 months. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't never realized that. He was only on
it was only 12 months. It was less than a year, really.
Yeah. You know, like Tupac got out of jail and all that shit happened within a year to his death. It's crazy.
Yeah, All Eyes on Me came out in the spring, and Machiavelli came out in September. You know what I'm saying? So that was it. And year before that, he was locked up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what could have been is just amazing. You know, I did hate the way Later Rage didn't get a chance to shine on Death Row like she should have. Like they held on to her album. Later Rage is very dope. She never got a chance to really shine the way she should have. You know, I wish Corrupt would have had more stuff on Death Row. He had a lot of work after they ended up leaving, but you know, and then DJ Quick was over there for like 2 years doing that Above the Rim time. So we didn't get a chance to see what he could have done with Dre and Snoop and all of them. So there was a lot to be desired, man. But for a short period of time, from like 92 to like 96, them 4 years, Death Row was right there with any label ever in hip hop.
I feel you on that. The next joint I got is Rawkus Records. I felt like towards the mid to the end of the 90s, you know, we were starting to get the shiny suit rap and everything, and labels was doing more stuff for the radio. And I felt like Rawkus was one of the last like boom bap hip hop labels. You talking about Black Star's first debut album. You talking about Moses' album, Talib's album, Reflection Eternal. You had High Tech. You had Pharoah Monch's first album, Company Flow. Big L's second album was on Rawkus.
That's right.
Yeah, the Beat Miners, they had their joint. This is a joint people don't really talk about, but Brace for Impact, the Beat Miners compilation album was crazy too.
And was Sound Bombing on that joint too?
Yeah, yep. And all the Sound Bombers were on. Sound Bomber number 2 was probably my favorite. With and for my favorite song, I gotta go off the Sound Bombing, like you said, Tone. That 199 with Common and X, man. Up at EAA, we must have played that song at least twice, 3 times a night, every night. Like that 199 was just stupid. And my favorite album off of there will probably be the Black Star. Probably be the Black Star, man. I love that. You know what? Maybe High Technology. I liked High Tech's first album. His compilation album was dope too. So I'm trying not to get excited. I heard the whole Mad Lib doing an album with Black Star, but I'm like my brother and Nick said, I'll believe it when it's in my hands, because you know I done heard some stuff about Black Star getting together plenty of times and it never panned out. So you know, I feel like with a lot of these rappers, when they retire, you just gotta wait a couple of years till their money run out. Then they come back and do an album. You know, gotta give them a couple of years. They talk that retirement shit till their kid gotta go to college. Then they be like, "Hey, Talib, you want to go do the album again? Get the tour money? Let's go." You know, so we just gotta give them a minute till they run out of money, and then they'll be back. Joanna, you got any more for us?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I have one more. I believe Illmatic was on Columbia.
Yep, Columbia Records. Yes.
So, and for me, Illmatic is just, you know, it. For Nas, Cypress Hill, I believe, was on there.
Cypress was they were on Columbia. They were on a label, Rough House, out of Philly. The Fugees, Cypress, this group called the Ghost Pache, they were all up under Columbia.
Under Columbia. Well, I definitely know that for me, speaking, I think Jim Jones was on there too. But I didn't like him too much. But just, you know, I'm just mentioning the name to just give him a little mention because he was on the label. I'm not gonna shout on any music of his right now, but for me, Illmatic is like I just the Holy Grail. I don't know, like what. Like, what can you say about Illmatic? Like, I listen to this album on a regular basis. It's in my, you know, my queue along with Chronic 2001. So I just also wanted to piggyback on what you were saying about Death Row. I still listen to that. I loved Chronic 2001 also, but you know, that's a different label. But so yeah, I'm shouting them out for Illmatic.
I think the funny thing with Columbia, I just pulled this out, and nobody probably remembers Curious George, but he had shit. That was crazy. It's a slept-on album. This was produced by the Beatnuts and the SD50s. The SD50s used to do a lot of remixes for all those electro artists that we named earlier. But this is a nice little slept-on joint too, Uptown shit with Curious. That just happened to be on Columbia too. So, Burn, you got any more?
Also, honorable mention for whack cover art. The nigga got a monkey.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, that. You know what? I never even paid attention that this nigga has a monkey on. I don't know how I did. Like for years, I just never paid attention that there's a monkey on this nigga's shoulder. Like where?
Hilarious, dog.
This nigga had to go.
Shit too. He just
you know, and all that. All right, bro. What's your last couple of labels or whatever?
I'm gonna throw this one out because you can't have one of the greatest MCs of all time and one of the greatest rap albums of all time and not mention the label. 4th and Broadway. Eric B and Rakim paid in full. Enough said. Had Freestyle Fellowship, and then this group that used to make me want to kill the white people when I was at Georgia State, X-Clan to the East Blackwoods. I was the most militant dude you ever want to see. I'll never forget this boys now. Let me not go back there. Nah, X-Clan, man, to the East Blackwoods. Yep. Got a chance to meet them at Club Excess. And the funny story about X-Clan, the cat that I met on Twitter told me a story about, you know, I ain't gonna throw shade today, so never mind. X-Clan, Grand Verbalizer, what time is it? You know, Funk and Lesson, Earthbound. I can't imagine that they made a lot of money because that sample clearance had to be ridiculous for that album. So 4th and Broadway, man.
4th and Broadway is dope. A funny story about X-Clan. I was right with you in high school. They used to call me Kill X. Militant person you could come across. They used to have meetings in Philly. So I'd have my mom take me to X-Clan meetings. And the crazy thing is, when I stayed with my cousins in Brooklyn over on South Portland and Fort Greene, YZ lived right across the street. Okay. And YZ was down with X-Clan too. So now I'm with you, B. I was the type dude coming in high school with the Quinte Cool with the tag on. I had stain and everything, man. I thought I was grand verbalizing. So.
Had my uncle. I had the green bees.
Niggas was looking at me like, dog, you really, come on, man. Like, like I used to really be like, yo, somebody was like, yeah, that's my young buck. I'd be like, brother, let's not call each other bucks. Don't you know? Don't call him a young buck. Let's call me a young bull. Yo, me and Ev went to high school together. Ev will tell you, I was Kill X, dog. I thought I was really Sadat X, bro. I would have shaken my head, but
young brother Jay.
So you was like that character on The Living Color, Damon Wayans.
Yeah, I probably should have got jumped a couple of times because I would just jump in somebody's conversation like on the avenue, like my brother. Let's not do that. Like we gotta hold each other up, man. You know when I remember Tim Hardaway had them sneakers with the X on it around the time when Malcolm X came out, the Fear Raid joints. I used to rock that. I used to go when Spike had his joint next to Brooklyn Tech. I used to go get my X hats and come back to Philly, be militant. Kill X, man. Kill X. So I feel you on that. Yeah, I gotta get my mom to send me some pictures, man. I post them, man. It's funny, but yeah, I was Kill X. What's good, Veg? You got any more joints, man?
I'm still trying to get over the fact that you went to X-Clan meetings.
Black Watch, baby.
Yo, I went to X-Clan meetings. Like, yo, I don't know how we knew about them, but they would go to a church in North Philly and they'd be like, we having a Black Watch meeting. And I'd be like, yo, mom, can you? That's one thing about my mom. She always supported me. Like 84, yeah. I'm 10 years old. I'm like, yo, can you take me to the Fresh Fest? And I'm like, now I'm looking like at Nay, like, yo, I can't believe you. I'm calling my mom like, yo, I can't believe you had me out here with all these stuff at 10 years old. So yeah, she used to take me to Black Watch meetings, man. And I'll never forget, ISIS was there. And
Link Q.
Link Q was there. And what happened was, like, this is right around what war was in the 90s? Desert Storm.
Yeah,
Desert Storm.
She got word that like somebody in her family went to Desert Storm and she was crying and like we was all like, sister, we here for you. Like, yeah, man, I was
You know, there's not much difference in your evolution.
Yeah, I'm still helping people out. I just don't
That's right.
sisters and everything. But yeah, I'm still out here in the hood trying to do good, man. But it's funny, like they
y'all can take off on. That's it.
Yeah. It's like the same thing with Howard. We would go to Howard in the 90s for Morgan, and my man would be like, yo, shorty, I can talk to you. I'm like, nah, man, you gotta say sister. Like, yo, sister. Like, yeah, I mean, Howard was on that type tip. Like, you know, Erykah Badu, the whole neo soul. You couldn't call nobody no shorty at Howard in the 90s. You get slapped. You had my sister, you know, so yeah. I used to go to Black Watch meetings, man. Yeah.
That's crazy because I remember, you know, I'm a big X-Clan fan. I remember I saw Brother Jay in Brooklyn, and I had the total I'm pro-black, but I had the total opposite reaction because I was like, damn, he got a big ass head. That was my first reaction. I was like, holy shit.
You like, yo, how you get that?
Yo. Huh? That's crazy.
How you get that head in that video so big, man? Nah, man. Yeah, if I would have met Brother Jay, man, I would have probably did like what the nigga doing Coming to America when we was at the Knicks game. I probably would have been like, Brother Jay. Yeah, Brother Jay. Yeah. Brother Jay was my
kill.
Wasn't on Columbia too?
Who?
PE.
Well, they was on Def Jam. I still got my Def Jam joint. I'm gonna throw at you. Once we get done with everybody, I still got a Def Jam audible for y'all. But Vay, you got any more joints?
Yeah, my final joint is Bad Boy. Obviously, the Notorious B.I.G., aka Biggie Smalls, aka Frank White. You know, Life After Death. Ready to Die, of course. Even I like some of the Mace joints. You know what I'm saying? Carl Thomas, Faith Evans, Total, 112. You know what I'm saying? Just a lot of dope albums. Black Rob, G-Dep. The just a lot of like, you know, for me during that time, I went to Morgan, so that's when Bad Boy was kind of rising around 95. That's when I was like a freshman at Morgan, and so a lot of what they did during that time in the clubs and the parties, you know what I'm saying, there was a lot of Bad Boy being played, a lot of Biggie, not just the party joints either, you know what I'm saying. Everybody up here is old enough to know, like, they would play Warning in the club, and it would be like they were playing motherfucking PYT, like people was into it just as much, you know what I'm saying, even though it was a story and it was a, you know, a hardcore rap. Favorite album, hands down, has to be Ready to Die. Favorite song is probably Everyday Struggle. I listened in high school, I listened to that song every day. Every day I would walk to school and listen to that song. It's something about the beat. It's something about Biggie's, you know, his reality, his honesty, the way he conveyed the stories that he told. You know, you really felt like he meant it. And being from Bedford-Stuyvesant, being from a ghetto, even though I wasn't into the street like that, you know, I had a lot of friends and family members who, you know, went to jail or died or whatever. And, you know, I could really relate to what he was, you know, rapping about. And it was just something about that beat just felt like, you know, yeah, we can do the hardcore shit and just say, yeah, we rough and tough, but, you know, we ain't happy when our friends die, or we ain't happy when our relatives die. You know what I'm saying? So that song, like, yo, even when I listen to it now, it's like I'm transported back to my Walkman with the reverse in it. You know what I'm saying? Sidebar. All right, so y'all had the reverse Walkman, right?
Yeah.
When it was reversing, didn't you have that moment where you be like, this shit reversing or eating my tape? Like, it would take a little while to reverse, and you be like, I hear it. Yes. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Bad Boy Records, man, Puff can get a lot of flack, but he signed a lot of dope MCs. Tried to sign a couple of other MCs like Nas and Ray and Ghost and Mos Def and Talib, because he respected real hip hop. You know what I'm saying? He just was also trying to make money at the same time, which is probably what threw some people off or turned some people off to records like Juicy. But man, Bad Boy Records, Ready to Die, Everyday Struggle, you know, my favorite.
All right, yeah, and the thing I think Puff don't get a lot of credit for is, I mean, his marketing. His marketing, like, I'll never forget the first ad. First time I went to EAA, Ray had my boss Ray had the Big Mac post up, and I mean, I was just like blown away by that. Like, I'm like, damn, like Big Mac, like that's an ill promo, you know what I mean? And that's what Puff did with just everything. And then back to what you were saying about Rockefeller Vegas, person I always want to shout out who never gets any love because it's always Kanye and just Chad West out of Philly. He's a producer out of Philly. Yeah. A lot of stuff for the State Property crew and all of them, and dude had beats too, but I just don't know why he never got that. I don't know why Jay never rocked with him. And I guess he was kind of like the beat producer, like, all right, I give him to the young boys. I'm gonna keep Yang just over here. But Chad had beats, definitely. JR, you got any more labels?
You know, the last one, it was gonna be Motown.
All right.
And What's Going On is my favorite from that.
So. There it is.
Yep.
I'd like to piggyback on what y'all were saying about Puffy. A lot of people don't know that Puffy is really a true story of bringing himself back, because he had those kids to die. Do you guys remember that? Did he?
At that game, they got trampled.
They got trampled to death. People dragged him, and he still managed to overcome that and bring himself back up and do what he had to do. And now we sitting here talking about it. So I definitely have a lot of respect for him.
You know, the funny thing, I'm glad you said that, because you just reminded me of something. The thing I always give Puff credit for, Vibe Magazine, 93 maybe, they had an article called This Is Not a Puff Piece. And it basically was telling his story of how he got to Uptown Records. And I'll never forget, after reading that story, because I was sitting here like, yo, how am I going to get up at the radio station? I want to host it. And, you know, I was just going to sit back and kind of just do the practicum, do the classes. And then after reading that Puff piece, I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to the radio station right the fuck now. Knocking on the door. And that's how I got on. You know, it was like I literally just knocked on the door like, yo, I'm willing to do fuck whatever. Them niggas used to have me going to get the hot dog runs. I was cleaning out the record catalog. I was doing all that nut shit. Yeah, but and if it wasn't for that article, I probably wouldn't have been able to become the host because listening to Puff, I'm like, yo, this nigga's sneaking on Amtrak trains,
doing all kinds of shit.
Go to New York and man, fuck, I'm gonna just walk up to this college radio station and see what the worst they gonna do, slam the door in my face, tell me to get out. But if a dude coming to your radio station like, yo, I'll put the records in order, I'll do whatever. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that article to this day I still remember. It's called "It's Not a Puff Piece." And
now he lays on the staircase at
the funniest thing to me was the Organized Noise documentary. If y'all watched it on Netflix, like this had the butler coming in and everything. Like, you know, everybody else out like this. Puff got the butler coming in, or if you follow him on IG, it's hilarious. Dude be dancing, have a dude behind him brushing his hair. Like, yo, Puff is just a character, man. Can't hate on dude. Tone, you got any more, fam?
Yeah, real quick before I go to my last one, 2 points. One, speaking of X-Clan, one of my favorite rap songs is In the Ways of the Scale. You know, I listen to that joint all the time. Brother Jay lyrically was amazing on that track. Real quick, what Vague was talking about, Ready to Die. I have it in my top 5. I'm gonna tell you, if you take Friend of Mine off, I hate that damn song, and put Who Shot You on there, that shit one of the best rap albums I ever heard. It's like the best one.
That too.
Friend of Mine is so out of place.
My dad said that too.
I always fast forward through that one.
So out of place, man. I hate that shit. Anyway, I'm start rambling on that, but y'all feel me. Vegas talking about Cold Chillin', man. I had Cold Chillin' down because Biz going off, Big Daddy Kane, Long Little Kane, Cool G Rap have a few albums on that joint. The Road to Riches, 456 is my favorite G Rap album. I know a lot of people like his earlier joints, but 456, man, was so polished, man. I love the album. I like the production too. Master Ace, Take a Look Around, very slept on album. Master Ace is one of the greatest MCs, but he never really get his props. But he influenced a lot of cats after him. A lot of cats will tell you that. So I like that joint. I know Shan is not the dopest rapper, but I did like The Bridge and I did like Kill That Noise. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was kind of slick and witty. He really couldn't transition to the new school style. Same way what happened with Kool Moe Dee. Even though Moe Dee one of the early gods of rap, he couldn't transition to that next phase of hip hop. And Shan kind of fell into the same thing because Shan was one of the dopest niggas in Queensbridge at one point. He just couldn't transition to like 90, 91 flavor and style and flow or whatever. But
I didn't like him, period. I didn't care what he was. I wasn't feeling that whining shit he was doing. I was so glad that the bridge was over. The bridge was over. I was so glad.
He said he got destroyed. Don't get it twisted.
Yo, you know my problem was, Tone? I rode with hip hop so fucking hard, B. Like, I missed out on music because of that. Like, I rode with New York so hard during the East Coast. I've never heard no Tupac Death Row albums because I was just like, yo, you coming for, like, it was, B, I thought I was in Bad Boy. I thought I was part of the beef, man. Like, I'm like, yo, I can't go to Cali, nah, man. I ain't go. My mom was like, yo, we go to Cali. I'm like, nah, son, I ain't going to Cali. Stay right here. Like, same thing with Shan. Like, when there's beef in hip hop and I'm riding with you, like, I was so much with BDP that it was
right.
Yeah. But Shan was Shan. Shan was Shan.
Yeah, he served his purpose early on. You know what I'm saying? He inspired a lot of cats in Queens early on, from Havoc to Nas to all these kids. So
I give him that.
He served his purpose. You know what I'm saying?
The funny story is in I always shout out the book Check the Technique by my man Brian Coleman. And Shan is talking about, if you've ever looked at the back of the Marley Marl album cover, and it has this picture of them all at the airport. And MC Shan is in this picture. So basically, after this was taken, they went back to Marley's crib to do the symphony. MC Shan was supposed to go. But at this time, Shan was the biggest MC out this crew. Yep. So Shan was like, fuck it, I ain't getting on no record with no Big Daddy Kane, these little young niggas or whatever like that. And he didn't go. And that's just one of the great times in hip hop. Somebody didn't show the fuck up because I did not need MC Shan on the symphony.
That is one of my all-time favorites.
That song. And I've had that debate with numerous people before. They've been like, nah, I don't think Shan would have ruined it. I'm like, nah, he would have fucking
it was best without Shan on it. It was best without him on it.
Veg, you was about to say something?
No, I was just thinking about what you said about the whole Bridges Over joint. And you know, I was in Queensbridge like every weekend around that time. So when the Bridges Over came out, like it was fucking quiet out there. It was quiet. I remember when that dropped. Me and my cousin, you know, once we get up on a weekend, we talk about all the shit we heard. And I'm like, yo, you heard the Bridges Over? And he's like, yeah, I heard that shit.
Right.
And then as soon as Shan dropped Kill That Noise, he was like, oh yeah, but what about this? I think it was like the next weekend. He was like, yeah, but what about this? I'm like, that shit is trash. He's trash. Y'all niggas over. Like, these niggas win. These niggas won. The Bronx. Like,
right. Yo, I remember a time, I knew Queens niggas back then. Niggas wouldn't even admit they was from Queens back then. Niggas would have been like, y'all from Long Island or Jersey. They won't admit that shit now because they got Nas and G-Rap and everybody else. I'm telling you, man, they won't admit it now, but niggas be like, yeah, you know.
You saw that Nas documentary when Nas talking about when he first heard it. I mean, cats knew like, oh man, we in trouble, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, KRS-One was vicious.
Yeah,
he was something else. Yes.
Yeah, we got to do another one. I did an episode before, like, I don't know if y'all comic book heads, but back in comics, they used to have these issues called What If? Like, what if Spider-Man fought Wolverine? I'm going to come up with another What If episode. We did stuff like, what if Large Professor produced all of Illmatic? Is it still a classic? You know, what if Pac didn't get shot in New York? You know, what if, and one of the joints we had was, what if, God damn, what were you just saying, Tone? This is how 43 brain don't work. What were you just saying, Tone? We were just talking the question was, what if MC Shan won the Bridge Wars?
Right.
What would have happened to KRS-One? Because like Shan just disappeared after. Back in those days, you lost the battle, you like disappeared. Like it was in black. Like it was like
he leaves town.
Like bye. Like you know, it was like MC Lyte battled Antoinette. Never heard from Antoinette again. Like you used to lose battles, and you just
man. You're right, because if Shan wins, there's no by all means necessary. Maybe there's no self-destruction. There's no return to boom bell. I mean, some of that's you're right. He might be back in the fucking homeless shelter.
You never know. You never know. But I'm gonna come up
with what I'm saying. Yeah,
I'm gonna come up with some more what ifs because you know it was an interesting episode because it's like, yo, if Pac doesn't get shot in New York, do we even have the East Coast West Coast war? Do we even have Death Row Records? You know, and it's funny how just one thing can change the whole
butterfly effect. Yeah, because if he never got sent to prison, it Suge wouldn't have put the guap to get him out of prison and put that battery in his back. You know, who knows what would have happened.
Right. The last couple of labels I just want to shout out. You got Rhyme Sayers. They're out of Minnesota. They got Brother Ali, Dilated Peoples, Evidence, Jake One, the Step Brothers. One thing I love about them, they take so much pride in their CDs. Like this is Jake One and Freeway CD. It's a wallet. And the money is the actual liner notes.
Wow.
You know, that's dope. With Dilated People, they had directors of photography. So for their CD, they have it where you pop this out and it's all Polaroid pictures and the liner notes are for each song. The lyrics are on the Polaroid.
Man, they spent their budget on their albums, didn't they?
They spent a lot of their budget. But you know, for me, man, I'm still in the actual CD. So
me too. Yeah, I gotta touch it.
They're still taking that time. I also got to shout out Pop Art Records out of Philadelphia. Yeah. A lot of people don't know. Shantae and Bismarck niggas had to come from New York to Philly to get record deals back in the 80s. So Pop Art was first joints with Shantae, with Biz, with Steady B. You got First Priority that was out of Brooklyn. That's the Audio 2. That's MC Lyte, Positive K, The Alliance. One of my favorite compilation albums, The Basement Flavor, with the had my favorite joint on here. I Ain't Having It with MC Lyte and Paz K. And I also got a shout out of Brooklyn, Duck Down Records, Smith & Wesson, Helter Skelter, OGC. My right there.
Joey Badass.
Yeah, Joey Badass. Yeah, Sky Zoo was on Duck Down. Foul March was on Duck Down at one point. So dope label. So here's my Audible with Def Jam, because I was driving home and I was thinking about it. And the funny thing about Def Jam is Def Jam means different things to different age groups. So you say Def Jam to one person, they may say DMX. I don't even think DMX would do it. So with all of us being different ages and everything, just what's the first group? If I say Def Jam to you, what's the first group that comes to mind? So what's the first group that comes to mind in that era of Def Jam? Because keeping in mind, Def Jam has been around since 84 to maybe 2005 or 6. So you're talking a whole span. But when I say Def Jam to you, what artist and what era comes to mind and why?
For me, I think Public Enemy come to mind.
Okay.
The whole Black Medallion, Black Fist in the era type vibe. I mean, he was kind of spearheading that with Chuck D. And that was my era of junior high school. It Take the Nation to Me came out, I think I was in junior high.
Man, I'm old, man. Good gracious.
Damn.
I'm 42, man.
When you said Def Jam, the first person I thought about was LL.
Yeah.
LL.
And I wouldn't think about LL, so my fault. I love L. But
Rock the Bell.
I was a big Public Enemy fan at the time. Of course, LL is the god of Def Jam, man. He built it, basically.
Yes.
There is no Def Jam. So, and hip-hop is different. So that's a what if too, Kill. What if LL would have not popped off? Def Jam might have not been Def Jam. They might have been stuck in that damn dorm room.
Here's another thing with Def Jam that a lot of people don't know. The original Rock the Bells, a lot of people may know, may not know. Run and L had a huge competition. They did not like each other. Run always felt like L was trying to be like him. So what was happening is, back when they would do park jams, Rockin' the Bells was the Mardi Gras, which ended up being Peter Piper. So that was originally supposed to be Rock the Bells. Run heard about that and was like, nah, fuck that. He ain't getting that. We taking it. And they did Peter Piper over that. So the Rock the Bells that we got wasn't the original Rock the Bells. The original Rock the Bells supposed to be LL spitting over the Peter Piper beat. And then, of course, they called it the Bells because the Bob James Mardi Gras joint has the bells in the background. So one of the what ifs on that show was, what if Run DMC didn't have Peter Piper? Are they still Run DMC? And again, most people said, yeah, because we Walk This Way and everything like that. But I know in '86, Peter Piper was it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It. Yeah. So I don't know if you take Peter Piper out of Run DMC discography. Of course, they got hits, My Adidas, Beats to the Rhyme. But Peter Piper, was one of the big first radio songs. And of course, they had to edit the curses out of it. We had, of course, Lottie Dottie with a little curse here and there. But Peter Piper, was huge. So yeah, it's just another little hip hop story of, LL. What if LL would have rocked over Peter Piper? You know what I mean?
Lyrically, Rock the Bells for L is still, like, you listen to that now. Yeah. Lyrically, he was 16. Yeah. Lyrically, this is poetry, pure poetry.
Yeah. No doubt. JR, if I say Def Jam to you, what artist and what era comes to mind for you?
Slick Rick.
Slick Rick?
Yeah, The Adventures of Slick Rick, because that was the moment I fell in love with hip-hop. My dad played that over and over. The moment I feared, over and over and over. So when I think about Def Jam, I think about Slick Rick, because that's when I fell in love with hip-hop. So,
and it's dope that you said the moment I feared, because, cats, my homegirl Maya would always say, cats love talking about the singles, but don't never talk about the albums. And the moment I feared is probably my favorite Slick Rick cut. That's just storytelling at the dopest. The whole was dope. And there ain't no joke, and then a whole bunch of Brooklyn kids just came in my throat. You know what I mean? Like, never go wrong with Slick Rick. What about you, Veg? I say Def Jam. What comes to mind?
Public Enemy, LL, Slick Rick, Nikki D. You know what I'm saying? That just that whole era of MCs and just like I said with Cold Chillin', man, just a label where he's just like, damn, that's where rap is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't go anywhere else for rap. You going to Cold Chillin', you going to Def Jam, and that's the whole. I used to think everybody was on there. I thought EPMD was on there. I thought Run DMC was on there. Until I looked at the back and I'm like, fresh. Who the fuck? Management. Like, what the fuck is all this? Where's the Def Jam logo?
That's true.
You start feeling like, no, you're supposed to be on there.
Right. Right.
Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that whole era.
No doubt. Vern, what about you, good brother?
All y'all fronting. When you think of Def Jam, you think of Orange Juice Jones, The Rain. Close your mouth because you're cold busted. I started to get the jam about the jam and flat blast it, but I cheated. No.
Yo, I think the funniest part about that video was when he came out with the Silk Ninja suit. Like I just seen Ninja with you got the regular karate suit. This Silk Ninja suit. Like that didn't even have the robe on. He had the little ninja glove.
I'm tripping, man. Def Jam tells you who I am. The enemy's public. I gotta go with Public Enemy and LL for Def Jam and Beastie Boys too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny for me. I gotta go with Beastie Boys, man. I can't say enough about this album, man. I mean,
crafty.
Yeah, I mean, this joint, man. I can't tell you how many times I looked at this cover and wanted this 4-finger ring like Ad Rock had, man. Like I would just stare at the back of the album cover, but Rhyming is Still in the New Style, Posse Effect, Fight for Your Right, No Sleep Till Brooklyn, Paul Revere, Probably Get Ill, Slow and Low, Brass Monkey, like damn near everything on here was classic. These dudes had us still in the joints off of because they used to have things with the Volkswagen on it.
Yep.
People be trying to pull the Cadillac thing up off the car hood and everything to put on a little what is this? A shoelace, a little shoelace or whatever. So yeah, I just thought about that because I was talking to my young boy. He's 33, 34, and I asked him, and he was like, "Oh man, DMX, Meth and Red." And I'm just like, Def Jam has been around for so long. It means certain things to certain people. You know what I mean? So the names we naming right now, he'd be like, "Yo, I don't know shit about the Beastie Boys or Public Enemy about none of them." So I think that's the dope thing about Def Jam is they have such a long tenure that it means different things to different people. So just thought that would be dope. All right, so give them all the information, man. Where can they get at you? Tell them about the website and everything, man.
Hit me up Twitter. Enter the Dome. ENTERDADOME. Tony Haynes at Enter the Dome on Instagram. I'm not really on Instagram a whole lot, but I'm really on Twitter and Facebook a lot outside of the website. Check out the new articles on Q-Tip, Scarface, and Whitney and Bobby. Bobby meaning Bobby Christina. It's called a Greek Tragedy. You know what I'm saying? I wrote a little about their life or what have you. People been enjoying that one, man. So just check out the message board. Check out the articles, man. I'm just keep pushing.
No doubt. Tony, I got to shout you out for the site, man, because Ev hit me up. And Ev don't hit me unless he talking shit about Tribe's last album. So he was like, "Yo, who your man Tone?" I was like, "Oh, he be on the show now with us and everything." He was like, "Yo, man, his site is ill." And Ev really don't talk about nobody's shit much. So, just
what's up, man. Appreciate it, man. Tell him what's up.
Just a shout to you for the site, man. The site is very dope, man. Articles are real dope. Y'all need to check that out. JR, let them know. Yo, you was on the radio today. I missed it, bro. I was in meetings all day in the hood. But let them know about that, man.
Oh, okay. The website, Junior World of Soul. I do current R&B bangers weekly, and I do Flashback Fridays when I do from 50s to 90s R&B. On the last Thursday of each month, I'm on WFDU 89.1. I'm doing my top 5 R&B joints of the month, just so everybody can get some shine, because mainstream radio playing the same people all the time. So it's like, yo, people, it's a lot of people that's doing good music out there that deserves to get shine. So I'm on that. So,
all right, no doubt, no doubt. Joanna, tell them where they can get at you.
I'm Joanna at Film Level on Twitter. JWOmedia.com is the website. I'm a filmmaker, screenwriter, working on quite a few things right now. Some big news coming up, Kill. I'll be sharing with y'all in the next couple weeks.
That's good shit.
Just hit me up anytime. I enjoyed myself tremendously tonight.
All right, no doubt. We got to get you back, cousin. We got to get you back. Vegas, tell them where they can get at you, man.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at VegasWorldINC. And you can check out my podcast, Hip Hop News and Perspectives, on SoundCloud.com/HipHopNow podcast.
Yo, you really work on the radio, bro. Like your radio. Like this.
Come on, yo.
He's down with the big bad sound.
He like Venus flytrap. Like,
That's the whole point. That's the whole
dope, dog.
WKRP in Cincinnati. Venus flytrap was cool for y'all people who remember WKRP. Yeah, Venus flytrap was cool, dude. All right, Vern, tell them where they can get at you, man.
VE Chandler 10 on Twitter and V Chandler 10 on Instagram, or it might be reverse. Man.
All right, y'all already know this with me, Kill 889, Instagram, Twitter. My book that I'm shouting out this month, we are looking at Ego Trip's Book of Rap Lists. If you don't have this book, it's a very dope book. It literally talks about everything. Just it's a book of lists. So rappers who have appeared in animation, Public Enemy's Disciple for Future 17. I mean, it's a list for just everything. All the people who appeared on the Midnight Marauder album cover. You could try to name them if you want. I mean, it's hip hop's wonderful world of wax wars. So you got, you know, the real deal, Roxanne Shante. You got Sparky D versus Roxanne Shante.
Oh man.
Mo D versus Sparky D. Got JJ Fad versus Roxanne Shante. So I mean, it's just an entire book of just different lists, top lyrical Mexican references. I mean, there's some research in this book. 28 scathing songs about racist punk police. So and what I love about is at the bottom of each page there's a rap lyric. So I've literally gone through here and tried to name them all. So like I said, just a dope book. Speaking of books, Joanna and I have the podcast Book of Rhymes, where we read a book every month. We review it, do a show about it. We need more folk to join us. We got to show people we can read out here. The first one was Annihilation. No, seriously, I work in the hood. I got like 12
You're right.
And comprehend what we read too.
I'm like, yo, I'm dead serious. Like I got 12th graders reading on a second grade level, about to go to college. So yeah, we got to promote some reading. So the books are dope. We just finished Annihilation, which is a movie that drops in theaters tomorrow. We read the book and did that. I'm gonna post that show this weekend. The new book is The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. So yeah. So if y'all want to join us, y'all already know what it is. We do it every week. Appreciate all y'all. Dope night. Thank y'all for y'all time. Appreciate y'all. Check y'all next week, y'all.
That'll be good.
All right. Good night, guys.